right. So I actually sort of feel like LLMs have completely ruined computer science degrees, and I wanted to talk about it.
Ouch.
I think that the most valuable thing that I learned in my computer science degree when I graduated in 2017, which wasn't that long ago, but still, I guess it is a minute ago, is just the fact that I knew how to critically think. And I think at the very beginning of my degree, I didn't really know how to approach problems. I didn't really know how to think that critically. If I got stuck on something, I was very akin and used to just giving up and not really caring about finding an answer. But doing my computer science degree, it really taught me how to sit down and think about hard problems and think about them for a long time, really chew on them. I had nights, especially in college, where I went and slept in the library. And there was one time where I remember I actually slept in the library like 2 nights in a row. And the NYU library had this rule where at midnight, anybody above, any of the ground floors and above, you had to go to the lower levels 1 and 2, because those were the only 2 levels that were open past midnight. And those are 24 hours. And so there were 2 nights in a row where actually at midnight, the security guard came around, told me and everybody else who was there or unfortunate enough to be there, we had to go downstairs. And I'd go downstairs and keep trying to do my data structures assignment or project. And I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. But I sat there trying to figure it out until 7 in the morning. And then I came upstairs from the library, walked outside, and, saw random people going to 8 a.m. classes along with a bunch of other random people who live in New York City. And I was annoyed, but that really taught me, I think, how to deal with hard problems. And I'm not saying that I did that efficiently, and I'm not saying that you have to sleep in the library to make a good attempt at a project set, but I do think that that taught me how to sit there and to try and to think differently and to think about 100 different ways for why something might be going wrong and really figure out how to debug things. At that point, I probably wasn't very good at it because, again, I slept in the library for 2 nights in a row, but you get the point. I really wanted to become good at this thing, and I was willing to put in the time and to critically think about how to get good at that thing. Nowadays, it feels very different. I'm not in college, but I don't really envy anybody who's doing a computer science degree today.
Wow.
And I think the reason for that is because it's very different. It feels to me like...
Let me stop right there real quick. Do you know how many people feel the exact same way as this dude? Right? That's pretty sad. It's pretty sad that people feel like this today in 2025. I'm reading some of his comments right now. You can't see it, but one comment says, "Time to burn my computer science degree." There you go. Right. This person says, "Time to burn my computer science degree for warmth." That's crazy. That's really wow. The thing is, I think this goes deeper than just becoming a developer or engineer, a software engineer. Obviously, I just think overall, the value of knowledge is basically declining across the board. It's beyond tech. But we'll talk about tech specifically in this video, obviously. But I do think knowledge is just declining overall in every industry, right? It's becoming, it's just sad to see this. It's really sad to see how people are feeling this way of no longer seeing a CS degree as like something top dog. It's crazy. Let me read this comment real quick off his video. It says, "I cannot agree more. I'm so glad I at least got to do software development for about 5 years before LLMs came around. Excuse me. The craft is feeling like a lost art now." I honestly spoke to people who felt this way back in 2022 when I actually went to a coding boot camp. And let me just say this. My goal wasn't to become a software engineer or a developer when I went to this boot camp. I went to this boot camp solely to network, meaning to build my professional references. I'm 41 years old, right? I've worked all my life. And one thing I know for sure is what has helped me land multiple jobs in different fields, right? Right now, I work in IT. What helped me land these jobs were I won't say mainly, but I'll say the top 3 reasons was because of my references. So this coding boot camp, to this very day, I still speak to the professors. I still speak to the owner of the school himself, and I've used them to basically speak on my behalf, to land a job or to obtain a job. So that was my whole plan of going to this coding boot camp, to build my network, and it worked. I'm a big believer in networking is a very important thing, especially in today's time. People need to know you. That seems to be a bigger deal than just having a certification or a degree in today's world, sadly. But anyway, yeah, a lot of people feel the same way as this guy, and it's just sad to see that this is where we are now in today's world in terms of tech or for devs. It's crazy. But let's keep playing some more of this video.
Always now have this thing that can just magically do the work for you. When I was in the library and I didn't know the answer, what I had, or the best thing that I had, was maybe an error message. And then I could try to figure out why I was getting that error message.
Debugging.
And this was very much where Google really helped, right? I had something that could get me to resources that might give me the answer or help me figure out the answer or give me something that then helps me figure out the answer from there. But I didn't have this thing where I could say, here's my project, build this project in C# and do these certain things to make sure that I pass all the grading criteria for my class. That wasn't a thing, and nowadays that is a thing. And I think I'm lucky in a lot of ways that I was born in the time where I had Google to use. And even now I can leverage all these LLM tools, which is amazing. But I don't feel envious of anybody who's learning from the ground up right now how to do computer science or how to code. I think it's very different, and I think it's a dangerous time. Because
I can say the same thing for IT. I won't compare it to being a developer, but there's times where I may receive a ticket and I don't freaking know how to solve this issue. I mean, there's been I use AI religiously at work. I use it all the time. I even show some of my coworkers, the people who are submitting tickets, I teach them how to use the AI. Now you may say, well, that's shooting yourself on the foot because that's your job to figure things out. Yes and no, but if it's something so repetitive and basic, like how to fix an issue on your Outlook or something, or maybe something is wrong with your email, you're not receiving emails outside the company, but inside you can, if that makes any sense. That's a very common issue, and a lot of times that may require some troubleshooting. I do have to sometimes get our system admin involved in that. But a lot of basic things like your audio doesn't work, or just something so basic. I tell people how to use Gemini, or right now we're using Copilot, right? I show people how to use Copilot to basically find these answers to fix their issue. They don't also have to call me or our IT or someone from IT to come fix their problem. It's a very easy process. But anyway, I use AI religiously, so I see what he's talking about. I'm not looking to waste time to solve a problem. I need to get it done quickly, and just using Gemini or Copilot, Perplexity, like these things are amazing. Claude, I freaking love them, right? It helped my job. It just helps my job easier. I'm not looking for answers. It's right there for me. I ask the AI. I ask it, and it knows what to do. It gives me the answer, and problem solved. Like we're in and out. It's amazing. So I feel what he's saying. I get it. I do.
You just don't really have to think that hard, and it's very optional, right? You can think harder if you want to, but thinking back to how people actually had to learn how to code a long time ago, it's very different. Or even get information in general. If you wanted to learn when George Washington was born, you had to probably go to the library and like physically go somewhere where there was some document or resource that could give you that answer. When I was in school, it was way more of, okay, if I wanted to know when Isaac Newton invented calculus, that was something I could look up and get the answer to. But for computer science, I could only get to resources that would probably give me the answer in the best case. Or more realistically, it'd probably give me a resource that could maybe help me figure out the answer on my own. Mm-hmm. But now you just don't have to do that. It feels like you can almost buy insurance for $19.99 a month if you just have an LLM subscription, and you're almost guaranteed to not fail any classes or probably get even pretty good grades throughout your entire computer science degree. And that was not something that I had. I got many C's during my computer science degree, and I struggled a lot. But I actually think from that struggling is where I learned a lot of the information that I needed to be a successful software engineer. A lot of the things that I learned, I actually learned them and internalized them very deeply because I spent so much time trying to learn them. And it feels very strange that now people who are in school can really just get away with like writing a 3-sentence prompt, and then all of a sudden their entire project or the 1,500 lines of code that they were supposed to write is written for them while they're just like nursing 2 beers on a Wednesday.
Let me say this also. Let's kind of just keep this in mind. These new tools that we have available right now, such as LLMs, it could be something positive or negative, right? It could be used for something amazing and obviously the opposite. We're saving time here, bro. Like we are saving time by not wasting to look for answers. That's how I look at the AI. It has the answer that I'm looking for. Why am I going to waste my time looking for the answer? Like that's why we use Google to find the answer quickly. Google has just been replaced. Well, I'll say Google search has been replaced by LLMs because it's just a faster process. And I'm not sure why is that a bad thing? Calculators were a better idea. I mean, calculators have replaced something, right? Whatever was before the calculator, that's what we use because it was the fastest. Now the calculator has replaced that option because it's quicker. Now, like there's other things that's better than the calculator. This is what's all about, evolving and saving time and just focus on a lot more challenging things and not have to waste time looking for answers when something can find the answer quicker for us, if that makes any sense. So I'm not against AI. I'm not saying that's what he is also, but I think it's more pros and cons using LLMs right now. Or just AI in general. I think it's more pros and cons. It's helping you find answers quicker and solving problems faster, and I love that.
It's very, very odd, obviously, if you're of age. It's very weird and strange to me that is the world that we live in, and I think that this is going to become a larger and larger problem, possibly, in the engineering space. And I almost feel like this is going to be a thing where it's like the '08 crash financially, but for software engineering. And I know that probably doesn't make a lot of sense, so I'll try and explain a little bit. But from my very, limited understanding of the '08 financial crash, it seems like there were a bunch of loans that went out that maybe shouldn't have gone out. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not really going to go deeper into it. That is my general understanding. Yes, I watched The Big Short. But all that I actually care about is it seems to me like maybe this sort of thing is also happening in the engineering space. Obviously, that had repercussions for the '08 crash in, the markets. And now I feel like we might face something at some unbeknownst year in the future or sometime in the future. Because I think we have all these different people who are leveraging these tools and moving really, really quickly with them. But maybe we shouldn't be doing that. Like maybe that's not a good idea. Maybe it's not a good idea to build a house of cards with very, very, very unsupported cards that you don't really understand or know how to use or never used before, or you actually don't even know how to play cards, and all of a sudden you're building a house of cards that it's very tall. And
I mean, we can say the same thing about Google search. Like I said, it was the best option at its time. There was nothing like Google search. Now there's better tools. That's all this is, man. It's just like history does repeat itself. That's what's going on here. Google is now being replaced by the artificial intelligence, because it's just a faster solution, not solution, but tool. It's quicker. And I'm not saying he has a problem with that, but that's how I look at Google. There were some pros and cons with that as well. I can't speak about the cons right now, but I know they're there. Like everything, history does repeat itself, man. So I think the AI is just going through the same exact thing as Google search when they first came out. People are very weird about it, but they use it because it works, This is just today's world, man. So I think people just have to just adapt with times and just accept for what's going on. AI is here. It's not approaching. It's here. It's not the best. It does have its problems, but it is most definitely part of our everyday use if you're using it. And I'm all for it, especially for professionals. It makes sense to use the AI because it's a quicker tool. That's just really what it is. Excuse me. I just had lunch. I have all this gas. But what I'm going to do is pause here with this video, and I'm going to leave the link of his video in the description box below, and you can watch the rest for yourself. Just want to play a few minutes of his how he feels about just AI and a CS degree or just the world of engineers or developers, how much has changed for the good or bad. It's interesting to see the actual professional, himself, speaking about this. It's very interesting to me. But anyway, I do post on LinkedIn and IG and also TikTok. Feel free to reach out to me on those platforms. I do also have an email newsletter. I would love for you to be part of it so we can keep in contact off the platform. And my name is Ario DeJuiced. Yeah, more information down below if you have any interest. So peace out. Thanks for watching.